Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the media, and welcome to the TTPS Daily News Briefing for Tuesday, 22nd of November 2011. I am Sergeant Wayne Meister, and I'm your Public Information Officer. I'll start off by giving you some information relative to some updates. In the Central Division, during the period 11 p.m. on Monday, 21st November, and 10 a.m., an exercise was carried out in the Central Division under the supervision of Superintendent Abraham and Inspector Lawrence, and included officers of the CID and Task Force. 40 persons were arrested on various offenses, from possession of firearm and ammunition, possession of marijuana, and outstanding warrants. An arrest was made by the members of the Organized Crime, Narcotic and Firearms Bureau. The facts in this matter: around 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday, 16th November 2011, a 43-year-old female national of Caracas disembarked from the Sea Prowler at Pier 1 Shogunas. She was interviewed by customs and immigration personnel, and acting on information received, she was searched and 49 pellets containing cocaine were found on her person. After further interviewing and based on information given to the police, she was taken to the Eric Williams Medical Science Complex, where she was detained, and during the period Thursday 17th and Saturday 20th of November 2011, she excreted 57 pellets of cocaine with a total weight of 1.18 kilograms, a street value of $45,000. She is to be formally charged and will appear before the Port of Spain Magistrate Court today. I just want to give you an update re the shooting in Central Division. After consultation with the Director of Public Prosecutions, Clint Mitchell and Shane Carmona, they have both been charged for the following offenses. 1. Possession of firearm. 2. Possession of ammunition. 3. Possession of a firearm to endanger life. 4. Possession of ammunition to endanger life. And 5. Shooting with intent on 4 counts. Brendan Benjamin, the other suspect, is to be released pending further investigations. The aforementioned officers who were charged will appear before the Shogunas Magistrate Court on today's date. That is the end of my brief. I now open the floor for any questions.
Last night it is reported that Mr. Selwyn... Yeah, it is reported last night the CIO arrested one Mr. Selwyn Alexis Robocop in Enterprise. Could you give us some information on that, please?
The only information I have on that is that Mr. Alexis is in custody at present, but I'll have to bring you up to date on some more information. Information is still coming in, and I'll give you an update as time goes along.
Any idea why he's in
no information, no.
In this matter, with the 3 guys who are now to be charged or will be charged later today, you said officers were charged also?
What is that, the update I just gave you?
Yeah.
No, 2 of the suspects.
Okay.
Clint Mitchell and Shane Carmona.
But what's the situation with the investigation into the officers?
Well, that investigation is ongoing. The officers attached to the task force, they have since been reassigned to other duties, pending the outcome of that investigation.
With regard to that investigation as well, why did it take so long for charges to be laid against the men? It's been about 9 days since they were taken into custody, I believe.
Well, remember, the police will be gathering certain information, and the investigators, of course, will need a reasonable amount of time to conduct the inquiries to reach to this point. So hence the reason for the period of time that the suspects were in custody.
Everything arises out of an alleged robbery, but I haven't heard any charges of robbery being laid against these men. Could you explain that, please?
Well, all I can tell you is that based on the information and inquiries that were conducted by the investigating officers, the charges that I read out a while ago, those are the offenses the suspects were charged for. Mr. Benjamin has since been released pending further investigations.
Why was he released? Why was he released? He was allegedly involved in the entire incident, and by association that's some form of guilt. Why was Mr. Benjamin released?
Well, the investigators, in consultation with the Director of Public Prosecutions, and they would have come up to a decision based on the information they would have gathered, and that will cause the releasing of Mr. Brendan Benjamin.
Regarding that as well, I'm sure the investigation would have been surrounding the deceased men as well. Could you say whether or not they were involved in the shooting aspect of the incident? No, they are deceased, so we can't defame them. Could you give us some information on that?
Not at present. No information in relation to the deceased.
And based on the investigations, any ballistic testings done, any gunpowder residue on their hands, any stuff like that on the deceased men, not those who are alive and facing court now?
Well, as I'm saying, investigations are continuing, and I guess that
all three have been buried already.
All three persons.
Yeah, have been buried already.
All right. Well, we got information has been gathered. Investigations are ongoing in relation to that matter. I won't want to comment any further on that matter.
That's the only other question I have. If these two men, Clint Mitchell and Shane Carmona, have been charged for possession of ammunition, I believe only 2 firearms were recovered from the incident, right? Where does that place the investigation regarding the officers who shot at the other vehicle?
Could you repeat the question?
With regard to the investigation regarding the police shooting, if there were only 2 firearms recovered from the shooting and Shane Carmona and Clint Mitchell are charged with having possession of a firearm, where does that place the police investigation with regard to their shooting of the other 3 men?
Well, an investigation is ongoing. We have to come to the point where we could determine whether proper police operational procedures were followed and that kind of thing. So you find that there will be an investigation pertaining to once there's a police shooting, investigations will also we'll be looking at the whole idea of the operational procedures of the police officers. We'll take one more question.
Over the last 2 years, there have been a number of reports of police officers who are under investigation before the courts kind of thing. Could you give me an update on how many officers over the last 2 years are under investigation, how many have appeared before the courts, how many have won their matters, and how many are still before the courts?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have that information before me, but I will note it and I'll get an update for you as time goes along.
Could you give us an update on the Point Lisa's drug find as well?
No information as yet. I'll keep you informed. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your questions, and we have come to the end of our news brief. And we will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you very much.